It's been a while. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, why is it so silent?
Wait for you to introduce the something.
Can you do it today?
No, you always introduce. This is what you do. Go on. We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Homage got the vibes, got the vibes, got the vibes, got the
Hi, and welcome back to season 2, episode 4 of At Your Big Age. I am Dionne.
I'm Fisher.
How you doing, Fish?
I'm right, no? A bit tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit tired.
It's been a while since we recorded. So,
Months.
yeah, I think the last one was
COVID.
back in, it was back in September. We had a bit of a long break, but we're back now. And today we're going to talk about ghosting at your big age. So before we do, I'd just like you to see my first branded jumper that was gifted to me for my birthday, actually, by a good friend of mine. So for any personalised items, hoodies, T-shirts, mugs, literally whatever you want, follow at honeybeepersonalised_ on Instagram and pop your order in. So, ghosting. Who's ghosted someone here?
What's the definition of ghosting?
The definition of ghosting is the abrupt ending of, a liaison of
Alliance.
two people in a nutshell.
Where one person just stops talking to the other person. The
Literally,
other
yeah.
person has no idea what's happened. They just don't hear from that
They just
person.
don't hear from that
again.
person. So whether it was calls, texts, emails, dating apps, walking out on your family, and
Not in your family.
well, yeah, that's technically classed as ghosting.
Oh, wow.
As in, like, you leave
And never
And they
come
don't
back.
hear from
and
you
never
again.
come back, and you never hear from them. That's like a severe case of ghosting. But I guess in the context that most people understand is, like a dating aspect. So that's what we're going to focus on today.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't. No, I haven't. I'm not. I don't think I have. Ghost. I don't think I have. I've stopped talking to people. Obviously, just stopped talking to them, with it. Ghosting. So you have a conversation with someone and it's not. You think I never want to talk to you again, and you just don't talk to them again.
So if they message you, you just don't respond.
Yeah. I used to change my number a lot,
Okay, so that's ghosting.
but it wasn't like a relationship thing. It might just be that we just don't, like, you say some things. Sometimes you have a conversation with someone, they say something, you're like, I don't really agree with what you said. I don't want to talk to you again. And you just change your number.
Okay, so that's quite high level ghosting, I would say.
You reckon?
Of course it
I
is.
used to do it every year. I used to change my number on the 1st of January every single year, religiously for about 5 or 6 years. Because you just call up T-Mobile and say to them, I'm getting fake calls, and they just change it for free.
Okay,
They just
so
change it.
up until, say, the 31st of December, is there been a situation where you've been liaising with somebody and you just thought,
What, like,
and then just change your number?
sexually or relationship-wise or something? Like, nah, that's rude. I won't do that. That's rude.
No?
Nah.
Okay.
You just tell them you don't want to talk to them anymore, or it's not going to work out.
I mean, I think maybe what you're talking about is soft ghosting. So soft ghosting is where you there's soft ghosting. Soft ghosting is where you kind of slowly allow things to kind of fizzle out. So you kind of stop. I've done this. I'm not going to lie. I've done that. I've done a soft ghost.
I'm going to show my ass here after you say this. Everyone's going to be like, oh my God, I've done that.
Yeah. Soft
Yeah,
ghost.
Is that soft ghosting because you think it's soft, but the other person might think it's not soft to just be cut off?
But
you can say that.
No, but I've not cut them off like that. I might just ramp down the communication. So perhaps what I might do is, I might not respond to a few messages over the course of a week, but then send a but do you know what I mean? It's like the slow fizzle down. Why are you looking at me like that?
So,
Just toying with something.
so when you're not interested, you just slowly let them fizzle out. Instead of
but
just
thi-
telling them you're not
okay,
interested
but this
no
is
more
not
and
about
bring it to
me
a
right
head,
now.
you just slowly fizzle them out.
But the thing is, wait. No, because At the end, before we started this interview, everyone in this room had ghosted except for me.
But now you're going into
Right?
detail.
Now
It's
you
like
ghosted.
yeah, now it's like
hold on.
yeah, it's like you. I don't. Nah. But then is there anything wrong with? What's wrong with that?
I've done it straightforward, just straight ghost. But my one was a bit, not like a bit extreme. The situation was a bit extreme as well. Like when I say to you, like, remember I'd say it like a joke when I said, I found out the person was a little bit mad.
Yeah.
No, you actually find out they have a mental illness. Something's actually wrong here. And you really was duped for a second. And then you've realized this is way too much for you. Now, if I go tell them, because of the mental state was so
Right.
trivial,
Okay.
I figured it'll be better to just kind of ghost and just let it fizzle out rather than actually tell you the reason why we're really hitting this on the head. Because I didn't really want that to play into her mental state more and then her do something to herself. Because that was what her problem was. I found out she does a lot of self-harming. And not just that, because that's okay. We could get past that. And then she's actually bipolar. So she had multiple personality disorder. So with that on top of the... And I was at 18. So at the time, it was like, I wasn't mature enough to
Right,
kind of
okay,
handle
to
a
handle
situation
probably,
like
yeah.
that. So I was like, you know what? In all honesty, before I tell her this is the reason why, and it pay into her more, because she can't help that she's bipolar or that she's got multiple personal disorder, which then leads to her self-harming. So I figured if I just fizzle out,
Phase yourself out.
yeah, if I fade myself out. But
Is that a fizzle out? Because if you've cut her off, because we're gonna get into the effects of ghosting, how it affects the other person, how it affects the actual ghostee. Yeah, but do you think that cutting it like that, because you said fizzle, but that's not a fizzle out because you've just cut all communication.
Yeah, see, one day when I started talking to her and then I realized she was telling me she was a whole different person. At that point in time, I didn't really know how to actually deal with the situation. I'll be very honest with you. At first, I thought she was joking until I had to actually, this way you talk about guys do a CRB check on your woman. When I did the CRB check, it come back, no, bro, she's not there. What, did you not realize? I said, no, I don't know her. From another side of town, I didn't know.
How long into, because this is a good example of perhaps maybe, because sometimes it's going to be appropriate to ghost somebody. Because if you don't feel safe or something is just not right, sometimes there's good reason to ghost. So how long had you known her before you decided to give her the chop?
Oh, I didn't know her like that. I met her and I knew her for about a month and a half by the time you speak to them here and there. So not being funny, when you talk to her, she appears perfectly well. Met up with her a few times. She's perfectly fine. And it wasn't until about, like I said, about a month in, I started to, there were certain signs. The last stage for me was, I guess, when I called her and she thought she was a dog.
Wow.
There we go. And I was like, huh? And she's barking while I'm talking. And then I said, I don't know how I'm moving forward with this one. I think I'm just going to do the immediate cut. That scared me. I'll be honest with you. I was like, I didn't know. Later on, I realized it's multiple personality disorder. At that age, I thought she was under the obia or she was obsessed or something like that at the time. It sent me to the hills at the time.
Yeah.
But as you get older, you start to realize exactly what was wrong with her. But yeah, when she thought she was a dog, I guess that for me, that was the kind of last
straw.
bit. I was trying to tell her, once I realized she's had a little bit of problems, and try to suggest, why don't you go and talk to someone? 'Cause this is also at the early stage of her diagnosis as well, to be fair.
I see, okay.
So
So
at
she
this
hadn't
point in
any
time,
treatment or
everyone was
anything?
just saying, no, the girl's mad, the girl's mad, the girl's mad. It wasn't until at this time when she actually got diagnosed and is actually bipolar and multiple personality disorder. So essentially, she suffers from schizophrenia. So in that case, I didn't read. The last guy, apparently after the last breakup, that's when the self-harming kind of started to happen. So I did cut her off, but I didn't. I kind of probably did the worst one. I told her I moved out the country.
That's old school.
I was young. I was 18. I told her I moved out the country.
So she didn't live in your area?
No. I was from I was from down the northwest. She was from over south side. So there weren't she didn't really know. We weren't in the same circle or anything.
Right,
so it was very easy to kind of cut that or just ghost and just say, hey, I've got this position out the country, so you're not going to hear from me. So it's not that anything's wrong with you. And this hasn't, but I'm not going to be around to pursue this no more. So
Okay,
her mental
so
state
that I guess would technically be a soft ghosting because you've not just cut her off, you've kind of given her,
Let her down gently.
you let her down gently. It was a big lie.
Yeah.
But okay.
And then
okay.
she saw me right after that, and like music videos and stuff. So she was like, "Hey,
I just flew in.
Yeah, flew in for the
Flew in
shoot.
to do the video quickly.
So about you, Tay, have you got any examples of where you may have ghosted somebody?
Ew, ghosting sounds so horrible, doesn't it? But I suppose yes. But generally, if I ghost someone, and I've probably done it a few times, it's because I just feel like we're not aligned. It's a bit like what you were saying. It's just like we've got to a point in a conversation. I'm like, there's nothing more for us
switch
to
goes
talk about, and just stop talking back. It's as simple as that. And
Okay.
I don't think I've ever had. No, I have had people that are kind of like, "Hi, hello, are you still there?" kind of thing, and I just don't respond because I just don't see the point. Like I've either grown bored of our conversation or our conversations just you've got nothing to say that I can talk back to. So why am I wasting my time and why are you wasting yours?
So are we talking about like in the very early stages of like maybe dating?
Well, yeah, sort of trying to get to know somebody. You know, I might not even have met them. You know, if I've met them on like a dating app or what have you. But I just feel like,
I feel like you can't ghost somebody if you haven't met them.
well, this is it. So then, you know, you know, you're trying to tell me I ghosted someone, and I don't feel like I did. I just stopped talking to them.
If you
But
haven't
it's ghosting.
if
though.
you haven't met them, if you've never met the person, and you like, what's that film with the Tom Hanks and the email show? My age, they're just emailing.
You got mail?
You got mail.
Yeah.
If you've never met the person and you suddenly stop emailing the person, it's 2 or 3 days. The person's forgotten about you. Anyway, that's not really ghosting, is it?
Oh, okay. What?
That's not ghosting.
Okay, people have online relationships.
And those people are strange.
Disclaimer.
I'm not disclaiming anything. Those
I'm
people are
disclaiming.
catfishes. Those people are strange.
No.
If you have if you have a whole relationship with somebody you've never met, I'm gonna question it, right?
Yeah, but
It's not a relationship. You've got a pen pal that you send messages to and you receive messages from. You're not in a relationship. No amount of pictures and whatever videos or whatever else is gonna. You're not in a relationship. It's not a relationship. It's a communication of convenience at best.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you need to turn off your phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's at best. That might be someone trying to message me for
Reconnect.
Yeah, reconnect with me. But yeah, no, do you know what I mean? That's a whole other something. But do you know what I mean? You cannot ghost somebody if you've never met the person because there's only so far your good morning messages can get you.
Okay,
Do you get what
so
I mean?
you absolutely, I mean, not to say that I have, but you absolutely can have people have long distance relationships via communication. But they do. So imagine you've been speaking to somebody consistently for a year, you're exchanging videos, pictures, FaceTime, You've built, although you haven't physically been in contact, you've built up an emotional attachment to that person. Then all of a sudden, there's no more contact. You don't know if that person's dead, if they're alive. You've probably made plans to see each other.
If you've been speaking to this person for a year, you haven't met them yet, chances are you're not going to meet them.
Okay, but what if they live abroad? It happens.
Yeah, but then they stop talking. It's not ghosting. They're on a whole other landmass.
It doesn't matter.
Of course it matters.
Attachments are attachments.
But then I feel like this is where it's just, to some people, ghosting is never going to be a thing. Like, to me, if we're talking and you stop talking to me, I don't consider myself as being ghosted. You've just stopped talking to me. You might have found somebody else. You might have decided to drop me out.
Okay.
It is what it is. I'm not going to lose this because ghosting was a thing before it was a thing. Before it was
a thing.
Because there's people that I've spoken to as a teenager in my early 20s, and I've decided to stop speaking to them because I had a baby on the way or because I was with someone or whatever. And you go out and you turn around, and the person's standing in your face. What happened to you?
Hey, stranger.
Yeah, oh, how are you? Oh, do you know what I mean? Like, this happened, that happened. Like, I didn't ghost you. It's just whatever was going on at the time.
I gotta agree.
didn't allow for me to be in this space to communicate with you anymore, and vice versa. So it's not really ghosting. It turned into a thing when it's like a buzzword, ghosting. Oh, you ghosted the person.
I think ghosting's more when you make plans and then you flake out. If that makes any sense. So like if we're supposed to meet up or we're supposed to do this on Friday, and then I just don't turn up, and then you don't hear from me from that day. Yeah. I could class that as a ghosting because we had plans to do something. And then
I'm gonna give you the actual definition of what ghost of what
ghost me. You
right.
duck me.
Yeah, there we go.
Duck me.
The practice of ending a personal relationship with someone by suddenly and without explanation withdrawing from all communication. So it doesn't matter what level you think, from when there is, you can call it a personal thing, because you can be ghosted, you can have friendship ghosting. I've been friendship ghosted before. You can have work ghosting, that's where you just don't turn up to work. Lock off your numbers. They can't
like you got a new job, or you trying to get fired.
Do you get what I'm saying? So there's so many different examples.
You've quit. You haven't
I didn't ghost you. I quit. I left. I got a new job.
Are you coming in for your shift today? I feel like you've ghosted the company.
You ghosted us. No, I'm gone. I've left. I'm out.
Dude. I'm gone. Bye.
All right. Can I ask a question? Who here has been ghosted?
100%. Probably. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I felt no way about it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
100%.
Right. So
A few times.
By that definition. Definitely.
Yeah.
by that definition.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100%.
But again, like fish, I just charge that to life. Like I said, sometimes girls get pregnant, they're having a baby. She's had a man, she's got someone she now wants to commit to, so she's gonna try. That don't mean she's ghosting you. She's maturing. She's evolving, isn't it? You gotta let her grow.
And life is funny because you always meet the people that ghosted you again at a later date, like always. And you're right. Yeah, you're right.
That awkward moment.
Yeah, how's things? Oh, did it work out now? Oh, never mind. Take care. Bye.
Okay, so
Sounds lovely.
So you two just charge it to the game.
Yeah, man. Because otherwise, it's
Okay, but can we just have an honest conversation here? Because the thing is, there's going to be people watching who've been ghosted, and they're going to want to try and get something from this. So, are you two both saying that when you were ghosted, you didn't feel any way at any single point? Because the thing is, if you had built up a rapport with that person in interaction, right? Whether the attachment is strong or it's weak, something is building.
Yeah, but then you just think like, raw. You send the message, the tick doesn't double tick, it stays the thing, or you check the WhatsApp and you're blocked or whatever, and you think raw.
Okay, what's raw?
Right, raw, you're in DL, we'll go into it, because you're not wrong. I'm not going to sit here and act like you're not, like you don't, because you're a man, don't mean you don't have emotions. Yeah. You are going to look at it, especially if you're building a bond, you'd be like, raw, like,
yeah,
I thought we had a thing going. What happened there?
Okay,
And you're going to feel a little bit hurt initially. But again, this is why you hear me and Fish talking like this, yeah? Because the idea for this is like, men, and I don't mean to say it like that, but I feel like 2022, men are becoming very, very feminine like. So you're right. It's almost like I'm going to try and make this girl feel bad because she tried to evolve. So again, we're going to use this word now, ghost. Because now this sounds terrible. If I said, oh, she evolved, sounds like she outgrew me, right? Doesn't sound bad no more. But if I turn around and say she ghosted me, everyone looks at, oh my gosh, why did she do that to you? Am I looking sympathy as the man because she's moved on? So yes, there's going to be a small portion of you feeling a little bit hurt to your pride, but then you dust that off very, very quickly. You charge it to the game because it could be for any other reasons. It may not be because of you personally. It could be something that's going on in her life. Charge it to the game. And you kind of move on with it. So it's not like you dismiss it. It's not like you don't go through the emotions, but you go through them quickly and understand what they are instead of creating another version of it, if that makes sense.
Because we're wired different, innit? So, like a woman... And I've never been a woman before someone said, well, you can't say that because you don't, right? But I'll stop talking to a woman or I'll stop. Actually, I'll tell you what I do after I say this. I'll tell you what I actually do and I'll hold my hand up to it because I've done it. It was a definite game plan for me at one point. But you'll stop talking to a woman and then she'll obviously talk to her friends. And the conversation's usually, I can't believe he's just stopped talking to me. So they'll take it very differently to how we do because we'll just be like, happened to my girl? I messaged her the other day. I think I got blocked. Oh, raw, for real? Never mind. And move on. But because it's such a, they want closure. I need to understand why. What did I do? Why have you done this to me? I need to talk. I need to do. This is why it suddenly become a thing. Like, people always got dropped out. It's all like every.
No, definitely.
But you cannot dwell on it and beat yourself up over it and sit there and wonder why have they've just decided not to talk to you anymore. Just move on. Like, it's not, we don't need to make it a thing. You don't need to start questioning, what have you done? Is there something wrong with you? Is there this, is there that? Because 9 times out of 10, it's not, sorry to cut, it's not the person that's been ghosted who has the problem. It's the person that has done the ghosting.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to that. But men can feel equally as hurt.
Yeah, of course you can.
By,
Of course you can.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
but
it's 2022. They're screaming from the stands. They're standing up. I'm hurt.
and there is nothing wrong with that.
But I do question. I'll question a guy that has a conversation with me that says, "Oh, she ghosted me." I mean, that dude. Come on, bro. Really? Come on.
But what if she did?
Yeah, but,
She might have.
yeah, but it,
So
it happens. Chances of the game. But
No,
But I
we're
feel
not
like- no,
charging
but-
it to the game.
no, we have to. But
We have to acknowledge our feelings and our emotions.
Yeah, he's allowed to be hurt. You know?
Yeah.
He's allowed to, but
But
get over it quite
I
quickly.
would say don't dwell on it.
No, we're not going to do it, and we're gonna go
showers.
into that. Cold showers.
Celine Dion
Have
playing in the
you
background.
ever been ghosted, and how did that make you feel?
I suppose this whole thing of ghosting, it's probably happened to me when I was probably in my 20s. So not this new age ghosting or whatever it is that's going on. I don't know, or what we're saying it is, but these are generally people that I maybe had been seeing or dating. Like, for example, when I was probably about 23, 24, I remember I was seeing a guy, and then he just sort of flipped the script, and it was like, oh, we speak every day. And then one day he just turned around and said, oh, I'll speak to you next week. And I was like, speak to me next week. Hold on.
Oh, 7 days. 7 days.
Yeah, I'll call you next week, Wednesday type of thing. This time it's Tuesday of the week before. I'm like, And then he just, I suppose he did what you would call a soft ghost.
Yeah, that's what men do. Men do that.
Yeah, a soft ghost.
I've done that.
And disappeared. But
Yeah.
but like you were saying, they spin round again.
Yeah,
Because
spin
he
a-
DMs me now.
So I've had a soft ghosting. The thing is,
But did you take it to heart? Did you dwell on it? Because I don't take it to heart. I don't care.
do you know what it was? Like, you know when you think you've met that person, like you're like, yeah, like
Oh, you got it from him.
You put all your eggs in the basket.
no, I didn't put my eggs in the basket, but I was like, okay, I think this could actually be my
There's
guy.
a connection here.
Put the black book away.
Even no, I'm not gonna put the black book. I don't have a black book.
Hold on.
Sorry.
I'm not going to put the black book. I don't have a black book.
I never put my black book down. Wait, I never put black book.
I don't have a book.
The black book goes on whatever the digital version is now.
I don't have a black book.
The keychain gets deleted.
But the thing is, the reason why I wanted to like just explore this is because the reason why he soft ghosted me was my fault.
How?
What did you do?
So I didn't technically tell the truth about something.
Oh.
And it was my friends that told me not to tell the truth. Anyway, yes, my
So you're
friend.
lying about your age, not your age.
No, with my age. No.
That would be a big reason to ghost you. He might be on his way to jail.
No, it was a situation where it was like my living arrangements.
Oh yeah.
Fair play. Yeah,
Right.
I would have ghosted your ass too.
So, look, we had.
I don't recall advising you against not telling the truth.
You all collectively did.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, you all collectively did. You were like,
Sorry
don't tell him. It's not his business right now. And I was like, no, but I think I should because I'm a truth teller. No, don't do that in today. Da da da. So then it came up in conversation, and he was like, "Oh, so where does my man live?" And I was like, on a technicality, because we are co-owners of the same residence, it's like
Still living here.
He was like, yeah, this is
Already, he said, no, this is
gone.
iffy. It's iffy.
I'm gone. This is
She
long.
really, she just said it
No,
straight.
she could've
Like,
just
where
said-
does
she
he
could've
live?
just
He lives in
said-
the yard.
He lives in the yard, but we don't
Me
even
and
do
him
like
said,
that.
yes,
We don't even do like
Me
that
and him
because
said
she
in the
made
yard.
it
When they start with
wordy.
the story in the word,
And
you're
made
like,
it
no.
word. There's too many
okay, but I was
syllables.
caught off guard.
Yeah, see?
Okay,
He was like, this is long.
He's like, yeah, something ain't right here.
but see, what annoyed me about that situation was that I then said, look, because we had a lovely evening after that. It was lovely. But then
Planning his escape.
He's being mature about it. He made his mind up, but you don't want him to look like he's sour
Planning
about
his
it.
escape.
He's like,
The whole time he's sitting there saying, yeah,
have a
you,
nice evening.
yeah, you have that drink.
Back of his head.
You have that drink. You enjoy that. Do you want another one? Because I'm out.
literally.
Down.
But the thing is, I then said to him, I was like, look, if you're not cool with that situation, I'll understand, but just come back to me and let me know.
He didn't come.
But you know as well, the thing with that is because sometimes it's easier not to have certain conversations in it.
No, but do you know why? Do you know why I'm not having that? Because I have said to you, if you're not,
Yeah, you gave him that out.
but then just tell me you're not interested.
Nah, 'cause
Then
he said no. You gave him that out. We're very literal, innit? You give him if you're
No.
if you're not if this doesn't work for you, I understand. Just talk to me about it afterwards. We stopped listening when you said
Well,
I
clearly.
understand.
well, clearly,
Right? So that and this is why sometimes men will just disappear because it's sometimes that awkward, we don't really do awkward conversations.
yeah, but I don't see what's the problem in having the conversation, because all he literally had to say, because when we did speak, maybe a week later, he was like, oh, I'm just processing it all, and I was like, okay, well, when you've processed it, let me know. And then it was
He never
Aaron.
came back.
Well, he did eventually, but it was just like, I was like,
Too late.
so I literally said, I said, you know what? Clearly, you've made a decision, so it's fine. Like, I still think you're an amazing person, but it didn't work out. Cool. Do you get what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to go and linger over it. But at the same time, it's like, my thing with ghosting, why not just tell the person that you're not interested?
Sometimes it's easier not to, and also it's easier to, I'm going to say manipulate the situation, but I don't mean it like that. But I'm going to say that anyway because I can't think of another word. I'm tired. Sometimes you purposely, and I've done this. You purposely manipulate the situation to make that person turn around and say this is long, and then you're like, oh
The
no.
ambiguity, sort of.
Yeah,
just,
and then you're like, oh, for real. I understand. I fully understand what you're saying. I get it.
But the thing
But
is,
knowing that you've orchestrated it, so it's their choice. So they as far when they
Yeah,
go and
what-
tell
what-
people,
okay, but that's a
they
lot of
go-
work.
No, it's not.
No,
It's
it
not.
isn't.
Sometimes that is easier than having the conversation.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
the
But
back
then you
and
feel like you
forth
left
in a
me off your own accord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've decided to leave me. I'm hurt.
why
I'm
is
not-
everyone nodding? I don't
No,
understand.
because I'm only nodding because I know this from other guy friends who have said
Yeah.
exact same thing that Fish is saying here.
Yeah.
That basically they put it on you, so it's like, well, I'm not really interested in you anymore. But I'd rather
You
not
say it.
have that.
Yeah. I don't want to tell
screaming
you.
match or that back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, why?
I don't wanna tell you
They
that I'm
don't
not
want
interested
So
anymore.
what they do is they make it your choice.
Yes.
Make you believe it's your choice when they've already made the choice. They're not interested.
Personally, I think that is a lot of work. It is much easier for you to say, do you know what? I think you're a great person.
But then that
We've had an
also-
amazing time. However, I just don't feel like this situation is right for me.
There are very few men that are
Will do
equipped
that.
to have that kind of
Conversation.
conversation.
I'll be real with you.
I said the best part of 10 words.
No, but it's long.
No,
It's
but
long
let me
because
tell you
it's
why.
the response off the back
There
of
we
that.
go.
Oh, but or
I'm
there's
gonna be honest
tears.
with you as well. You are able to have that conversation because naturally, on first aspect, you strike people as quite emotionally intelligent. You could take constructive criticism. So for you, you're like, not kind of. I'd rather you tell me what it was, so I know moving forward for the future, even if this don't work out, the closure of it. What was it? So I like even now, if you went into a new situation, I'm sure you wouldn't. If your home situation was still the same, that's something you disclose quite early because you've had that experience.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of girls are not they're not emotionally mature enough to have those conversations.
At our big age?
Or at your big age. All they hear is,
At our big age?
yeah, all they hear is me.
I don't wanna be
It sounds
with
like
you.
an
I think-
attack. The minute you told them what was wrong, it don't matter even if you started the convo with, listen, this is all my fault. But then in this, you start explaining what happened in her. She just heard the verbal attack. So Claus is out just trying to react to what she thinks you're attacking about her, but you're not attacking. You're just explaining the situation.
But
So
see,
sometimes it's easier to just.
But you see, what happens when you ghost somebody is that the attack happens within. So people who get ghosted are gonna start thinking about: is it the way I look? Did I say something? It's gonna affect their self-esteem. It's gonna affect how they might move going forward. And then if everyone generally has this attitude that ghosting is okay, imagine. So we're gonna put this in context of age, right? So we're 30s to 40s, everyone in this room. Now, let's say you're like, do you know what? I just want to settle down now. Like, I'm really trying. You meet somebody, you think you've got this bond, you've got this connection, everything's going great, and then
She disappears.
She or he disappears. Now, as you get older, you know, you are probably more likely to put your eggs into the first basket that might tick all your boxes, and especially if someone's kind of giving you back that energy. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, my whole purpose for this conversation is that I just want people to understand like the effects of what ghosting can do and how. So like you were saying, like for you to kind of tell somebody like this, that, and the third, the claws come out of you. When you don't tell,
They internalize it.
they internalize everything. Not saying that that's your responsibility, because it's not, but that is just naturally what.
I mean, I
It's
think
gonna
it can go
happen.
either way. It could either be that you get ghosted, you internalize, or you get ghosted and you're like, well, whatever, you know? Or it could be the claws come out. However, it's very sort of individual dependent.
Yeah.
So you don't know what kind of reaction you're going to get if you have that honest conversation. And the other person might be emotionally intelligent and be like, okay, that's fair enough. I don't tick your boxes. Good day. You go your way, I go my way. Or it could be that you have this unnecessary savage conversation about, well, why don't you want me? Blah, blah, blah.
Me ask somebody why they don't want
Well,
me.
there are some females out there, or some
And
males out
there's
there.
some dudes too.
Yeah, that would be like, hang on a minute.
Turn up at your
You know,
house.
I've had a guy say to me, well, why him and not me? And it's like,
Yeah. Ooh, that's terrible.
it's like, why do you like,
I
why?
could never.
I've had that. I've had a guy turn around and say to me, why don't you like me? And I'm like,
Oh no, I feel sorry for him now.
don't feel sorry for him.
I do.
No, don't.
No, at the end
He
of
needs to man up. He shouldn't be making her feel guilty because she not attracted to him. He needs to man up.
Oh no, come on, guys.
No oh no's. That's the problem with
We
the
need to-
world.
we need to
There's
have a
too
whole-
much
we need
oh
to have a
no's.
whole-
You get oh no up into
A
a certain.
whole show about what it is to be a man.
I swear it's needed. In 2022, I think it's
Because
needed.
that there
Yeah.
is wild. If I said to my brothers, me and whoever broke up, and I turned around and said, and I had to ask her why him and not me, the whole room would go.
What?
It'd be like a meme.
And do you know what? And that is so unfortunate, because really how this conversation should go is my brother.
Nah, never.
Can I finish?
Never. It would never.
Can I finish?
Never ask why.
Yeah, why are you telling your back to me?
Never. Ever.
So what the conversation should be, so if your friend comes to you and says,
Don't
You
tell
know,
me. Don't
I
tell
was-
me. Why did you ask that? Never. ask
if your
that
friend comes to you and says, you know, Tanisha, sorry,
It's a good choice name still.
you know, Tanisha, she basically locked me off, and like I was devastated. And, you know, I said to her, why him and not me? This is a man that is in love, that is emotionally attached. Okay, we can't just discount feelings.
Bruh.
So as a friend,
As a
friend,
I would
you
tell him, know your worth, King.
right?
You, you are special. You are needed in this world.
And don't ever
Don't make Tanisha mad your head.
ask a
Yeah,
woman
here's
that
your
ever
crown.
again.
Here's your crown. Put it back on your head.
Never.
Get your ass off the bench and get back in the game and
Yeah.
let's get going.
Yeah. Man,
Right,
up.
you see that?
No.
A nice
Yeah.
pep talk, not just blank stares.
Black stairs. Nah. We'll have a whole conversation on that.
No, truth is, that's how it'll go. He'll get the
Well-
blank stares first, and if we realize he's really, really hurt,
Because he'll
someone's
be
gonna
hurt.
say something like that to him, but then it's gonna follow up with, "But blood, man up."
Yeah,
On
man
a
up.
real note, man up. Though.
Okay, but we can't just do man up, because that's not helping him emotionally. We need
Go and see a therapist. They might help
And
you
that
get through
too.
this.
And
Go
that
and
too.
speak to someone. If you don't want to speak to any of your friends, because you're right, sometimes your peers are not the best people to go and speak to about. You know what? Sometimes men go through stuff and they don't feel like they could turn to their peers. So yeah, you know what? Speak to a therapist. If you're going through a situation like that and you have a group of friends who are quite alpha type males, then probably you go into them saying that you're heartbroken is one thing, because every man's been heartbroken.
Yeah.
But you turning around and asking that woman, why him and not me? You've gone too
Do you know how
far.
wild that is?
You can't put her in that
know what?
position as a
I
man.
think-
You can't do that.
But as a woman, can you?
Yeah, but
No,
I was
yeah,
about to
yeah,
say,
yeah, a
from
woman-
a female perspective,
woman can say that
women
to a man.
have those kind of conversations with men. Not, I suppose I won't say regularly because I haven't got the stats on it. But then you can go to your girlfriend to be like,
why
I
did
was
she-
confused as to why he went off with this one and he didn't want me. You know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And your friends aren't going to be like, woman up. You know?
Yeah. They're going to say to man up.
It's like going to a woman and asking her, was his sex better than mine? What are you doing?
is a whole
As a
can of
man to
worms,
man,
like-
what are you doing? Why would you sit down with another
But I
woman
feel
and
like
ask
that
her what was...
conversation does happen.
That
It probably
conversation
does
has
happen.
happened.
No, it
has
does. And this is
happened.
where we're saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing that. If you're going to go and talk
has
to her,
happened.
you shouldn't be worried about what a next man doing. Your
We've
crown
gone
is
off on
on
a
your head.
tangent, and
Yeah.
You should go
I
in
know
there
we
with a
have,
bully.
but
and I'm going to allow it because
but the fact of the matter is,
what?
yeah, I've had that conversation too, and it put me off the person
There
that
we go.
came to me with that. Like, nobody ain't doing it like what? Yeah. I was put off.
I've had the
Oh,
nobody
the overconfidence.
Yeah,
You see
but
the-
I was put off.
The flood needs to come.
No, wait, hang
And
on.
come quick.
I just had a flashback of an old school conversation.
The flood needs to come and come quick.
Listen, we're sitting there. Even you missed 12-hour sessions. Listen. That nigga might be right.
I never
That
said
nigga
12.
might be right.
I never said 12 hours.
He might be right. You ain't gonna find another nigga like me.
Wild. There are some questions you just can't ask.
You can't ask women. Don't ask them why him, not me. Don't ask her
that's-
what was it like.
very
Don't
high on
ask
the
her
list.
how big. Don't. There's certain questions you as a male.
And you know why?
shouldn't
You know why? You
ask
know
her.
why too? You know why? Because we're not equipped for the answers.
You're not. What would you really deal with the real
Okay,
answer?
but either
Yeah.
way, but
So
either
don't
but
ask
either
it.
way, is anyone really?
But no one's going to give the honest response, though, are you? Like you're not going to turn around to somebody who's asked you why this person and not me. You're not really going to say it's because I think you're ugly, or it's because you're not going to do that.
But then do you see how it's gone full circle? That because we're trying to avoid that
You
question.
don't want to hurt somebody.
You just
Okay,
no,
but
you not. You just.
You kind of maybe give
you
the-
kind of just because in our minds the response to the might not be that. They might say, "Oh, cool," but men automatically think that it's going to be waterworks. There's going to be screaming and shouting. Your stuff's going to get thrown out the window because
Okay,
all the
okay,
images
but if
that
you're
we've seen as coming up has always been the extra. In films, you never see the woman go, "All right, cool."
okay, but I mean, if you just have to get thrown out the window, it's not really a ghosting situation.
No, but that's what
That's a
I'm saying.
breakup.
But that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Because to avoid that, because in our mind, anytime we think of having a conversation with a woman and saying it, we automatically go to, it's gonna go left. She's gonna scream and shout. It's gonna be this.
I
It's
don't
gonna be
think
that.
I've ever
Why
had a
men do that?
situation where a man is. I mean, more often than not, it's like I'm done.
Yeah, but that's what we think. That's what.
Okay.
That's what we think. So
Innit?
that's our
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Our
I'm
default
done.
setting. Our default setting is to
out.
ghost.
I'm out.
Yeah, it's the default
But I
setting
think
just
it
to
all comes
avoid.
with life experiences and maturity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and how you handle it and how you feel about yourself at this point. So if someone ghosts me tomorrow, I'm not going to cry into my pillow about
But
it.
again, it depends on the intensity of the relationship that you've built up to this point.
But
Do you
know-
see what I
but
mean?
You know what I'm like. I'm very sort of. So even if I was in love with this person, I still would be like, okay, Wensley Adams, good luck to you.
Because the thing is, if you're into them that much and then they do that to you, that's like the definite every kind of sign to you to say that this wasn't your person. So no matter how you felt about that person, the fact that they've turned around and done that to you
Yeah.
Yeah.
should be the point
Should
where
be.
everything in you goes zoop, done.
That ain't my person.
That's
Should
not my
should
person.
be, but that's
even if it's
but
like a
that's-
year in or
But
2
that's
years
not
in.
that's not often how it works. Like I remember someone I know. I mean, I might not have the story completely right, but they were talking. They met via dating app, and they were talking over maybe the course of a month or a week or no, it couldn't be a week. Maybe like for a month or so. They're talking on the phone. Then one day,
Go on.
literally lock off. She was so angry. She drove. I can't remember. I don't know if he works in Westfields.
He drove to went to his workplace.
Well,
to try and find him.
See?
Okay, but
Do you see?
okay, but that's because he ghosted her. All he had to do was say, "Do you know what, babe? Do you know what? Let's do a little."
I can't do a role play because I'm not the one to do this with, because I'll just be like, zoop, I'm off.
Okay, what you're gonna do? You're gonna ghost me.
Yeah.
Well, you're not gonna ghost me, but we're gonna do a little reenactment, and you're gonna let me know that just to show the viewers that it's not that hard to do. So you're not interested in me anymore. So talk to me. Hi.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. How's your coffee?
It's all right. It's a bit cold.
The
I'm just
coffee's cold. It's giving me Karen White.
I'm just gonna because I should probably just say I don't. It's not gonna. This isn't working.
But just like that.
Yeah, just to rip the plaster off. It's just not, because otherwise we're gonna sit here and it's gonna be a whole thing. We're gonna laugh and joke, and then I'm gonna say it anyway. So I might as well just say it. It's not really working.
What's not working?
Just us.
Okay, but what part of us isn't working?
Do you see?
Even I would be like, but hold on,
Do you see?
why is
Do
it
you
not
see?
working?
Do you see?
But I think it's your delivery though.
No, because
It's very blunt.
It's very like.
because
Nah, do you know this? You wouldn't be so blunt with it. If you
You wouldn't be so like.
and I wouldn't be. You know why? Because I would avoid having the
convo.
conversation. And this is what I'm saying, because
Okay, we're going to try this again, but the other way round.
Okay, go on.
Hi, babe.
you all right?
You all right? How's your coffee?
It's all right. Still.
Good. I think that you're an amazing person.
Oh.
Are you about to give him the bullshit sandwich?
Yeah.
We learned this shit at work. Is it the bullshit?
the bullshit
bad,
sandwich.
good, bad.
Yeah.
Start with good. Bullshit
Start with
sandwich.
all
Go.
the and then break down the
You're a great person.
Go on.
This is reminding me of the orgasm gap talk, actually. So, obviously we've been spending a lot of time together. I think you're a cool guy. I just feel like we want different things. I don't really feel like we're aligning as much as I probably thought we were when we first kind of met. And obviously, like, I don't want to ghost you because I just think that's a little bit disrespectful. Because, we've been on dates and stuff like that, whatever. So, yeah, like, how do you feel about that?
All right. It's fine.
Okay,
I'm glad you let me know.
okay, lovely. Now, what's going on for you internally?
Honestly, are we still in roll here?
No, we're out of
Oh.
row now.
I would prefer you sent a text and said that.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me
I'm-
deal with
if-
that in my own time.
if
Why are
I'm
you going to
being-
tell me face to
No,
face and try?
because
Now
the
I've
thing-
got
No,
to
'cause
try
we were
and
having
hold back.
coffee.
But this is the thing, right?
Now he's got to show face. It's because you're doing
It
it
can
in his
only
face.
be. It can only be as smooth as the person being told allows it
Yes.
to be, right? So if we're sitting, and this is the problem. This is what people do. They make it into a thing where you're gonna go out. What are you doing later? We'll go out. We'll do something cool. You sit down. You have a coffee. It starts off all nice, and then it goes zoop. The person's either gonna be like cool, or they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, now you're in public. You're embarrassing me. There's tears. You're crying. I've seen it. There's tears. You're crying. They're giving you a tissue. People look at you like you did something wrong. They don't really understand what's going on. All this stuff is stuff that we as men think about 24/7. To make this thing here simpler, just don't
But
do
I
it.
think the problem with a text is that when you see something on a page, it's open to interpretation.
Patient, exactly.
So
Whereas
and then
now,
you start reading between the
lines.
You start trying to guess the tone. It's either going to be a nice tone or aggressive tone, or you don't know. So you're now going to be constantly rereading and reanalyzing.
Exactly.
This
Whereas now, where I'm sitting in front of you, you have the opportunity to ask me why or ask any questions that you want to ask.
So
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get
No,
it.
I do get it.
I do get it.
What
I
you're
get
saying
it. I get
makes
it.
perfect
But I
sense.
just
And
think
at our age, I think people do more handle it now. We're talking generally, innit? At
Yeah.
our age, I think most people do kind of handle situations like that now. In my circle, anyway. If you are having problems with the missus or that, you're not running around in secret. You're going to pull her to the side. You're going to try to take her for a dinner. And then over dinner, you would explain, look, it's bullshit sandwich, amazing, love our
'Cause even-
relationship. And then you'll go to highlight, well, I think we need to work on this. This is where we could be a bit
Yeah.
stronger. And then you're going to end strong again. Amazing dress.
We're never gonna get to. I'd probably like to see. I feel like the ghosting thing happens more with younger people,
Yeah.
You think?
and we can't quantify it with like a poll or a graph or anything. But I feel like it happens more.
There was a 2019 study.
Oh, wow.
And ghosting, as long as you are on some kind of dating app, because this is where it mostly happens.
Okay.
So whatever age you're at on a dating app, and that can be whatever, ghosting
That's what
still
it is, isn't it?
happens. And I think the stat was something like 60, don't quote me, but I'll put it up on the screen. I think like 60 something percent of people said that they have ghosted on a dating app because they've not done the physical.
They don't see it as a
They
thing.
don't see it as a thing. And I guess you also have to bear in mind as well, like for anyone who has been ghosted and it's kind of like ripped your world apart, because it happens. Like you were saying earlier, there's so many different reasons why. Someone could be having mental health issues. They could be having work problems. There's so many reasons why someone might just cut off contact. It could be their attachment style, avoidance, have a fear of intimacy. So once they get a bit too close, it's like, actually, and then they kind of cut off. But, also, if you're finding yourself getting attached quite quickly, then that's something that you need to kind of look at within yourself. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you shouldn't be getting that emotionally attached with someone
You haven't met.
I mean, no. The thing is, you can have an emotional attachment with someone you haven't met. But I mean, and the thing is, who's to say what the time limit is or the time period should be?
He saw what I did there. Sorry. He saw what I did there. Go on.
Okay, I
About the
didn't.
never meeting. I took it back to the beginning.
Okay, but I'm not. But look at all those people that have long distance relations with people in prison, and then they end up getting married. It happens all the time. Are you telling me that their relationship isn't real when they end up getting married?
I've got nothing to say. You're absolutely right.
You're right.
Absolutely right.
But I think that might lead me back to the original one. But that you getting married to people in jail you never met.
I mean,
you sound like a very sensible, wise young lady.
That's
Not
no,
me.
No, hold on.
Not you. No, we're saying in general. That's what I would say to them.
That's
I would say, instead of saying what I want to say to her, I would say to her, well, you're getting married to a guy in prison that you've never met. You sound like a very wise, sensible young lady.
No, you said that actually. Ghosting. When I was on my unwanted holiday, ghosting was when people wouldn't show up to your visits.
Yeah, that's a ghost.
Oh yeah, that's actually quite heartbreaking.
That was ghosting. That was hard to see. Still, that was very. I think that happened
That
to me
will mash
once
up
because someone
certain
got stuck on
man
the
still.
train. So that hurt.
Because you don't know the
'Cause you
reason
don't know,
why.
Like,
Yeah.
everyone's looking at you like.
You're sitting there,
Oh, you're by
waiting,
yourself.
got yourself excited, going
like,
down.
Yeah, the officers got you all dressed up. Officers come and they say,
And you got to sit down and wait for everyone else to finish their visit. So you got to go
coming,
watch
you
everyone
sat there
else's
like
visit.
Sat there like a chief. So that's
Yeah.
that ghosting. That's painful. Everything else is.
But I mean, if it's intentional, because like you said, for example, that person had an issue with the trains
Yeah.
and stuff. Because I remember when I went to do a visit, and I can't remember. I think I forgot my ID. I was. I got all the way to Feltham, didn't have my ID, and they sent me back. But I made sure that I
let them
got
know.
ano- yeah, and I booked another visit as soon as I could. Okay, so in summary, what do we agree on regarding ghosting?
If you're suffering from being ghosted, speak to somebody like a therapist or a member of your peers who's emotionally intelligent.
Lovely.
That would be my advice.
Okay. Tay?
Don't take it personally. Try your best not to take it personally, And I think, like Fish mentioned, it's generally the person who has the problem. It's not you. So don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
That would be my only advice to someone who feels like they've been ghosted. I think, see it as you've been done a favour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
Yep.
100%.
Fish.
It's not that deep. If you haven't met the person, it's not that deep. This is the problem. And I've never been on a dating app, so I'm speaking just purely from an outsider point of view. This is the problem with these apps. They make you feel like there's so many ways of communicating with people now that you feel like you're always talking to the person. Like you can be nowhere near the person and be talking to them while you're at work or while you're traveling or while you're thinking. And because of that, your mind creates this thing where I'm attached to this person. You're not attached to the person. You just have access to the person all the time. It's different. So if that's where you are and the person decides to not respond to your messages anymore, just keep it moving. How many people are on these apps? There's bound to be somebody else for you, no? You probably got people languishing in your DMs like Bane in that prison in Batman. Just dig out one of them and just say, hey, smiley face, and keep it moving. Like if it's not like a proper thing where you've actually been around this person 24/7, it's not that deep. Like it's not. There's other things we can worry about. Yeah.
So I don't agree with Kieron. What I would say is that if you are someone who's been ghosted and you genuinely felt like there was something there, and you're finding yourself in attack mode, this is the thing. People can even get like very mild symptoms of depression as a result of ghosting. Anxiety. Okay. I'm trying to do my mental health bit, guys. Okay. Symptoms of anxiety.
God, he wants to say it's not that deep.
I do want to say it's not that deep. I do want to say it's not.
Don't you
It's not that deep. It's not.
People can experience symptoms of very mild depression, anxiety, like I said earlier, self-esteem issues and that type of thing. Now, Dee, correctly said, if these are things that you're experiencing, go and see a therapist, because also what we have to realize as well, you can't project the void that you have inside onto that person. I mean, if we're talking about in dating app stage, really no one owes you anything. In an ideal world, if we were all considerate and we all just had basic manners, then not saying that other people aren't mannerly, but do you know what I mean?
There wouldn't be a need for the dating apps in the first place because everyone would be talking to people face to face.
It may affect how you approach dating going forward. And, obviously I can appreciate, especially at our big age, there might be situations where you want to start a family, you want to settle down, the clock is ticking. But you just have to bear in mind that you can't project the void that you have onto another person because they essentially don't owe you anything. I think until such time that you're in something that is, at least at, the dating stage, and you've both kind of agreed mutually that this is kind of what you want to do, I would kind of suggest that you take a step back and don't allow yourself to get attached so quickly. Now, if you are someone that gets attached quite quickly, you need to figure out why. And this is going to go back to what Dee was saying about getting therapy, looking at your attachment style. We should all be trying to shift into a secure attachment so that we don't find ourselves in these situations consistently. But if you need any kind of support services, head over to the website. It's lovelaidbear.com. On our resources page, there's a list of different support services, therapists, all that jazz. Alternatively, if you'd like a self-awareness session with me, go to the website and book yourself in. Okay, so that is it for episode 4.
I rhyme.
Thank you for joining us. Also, don't forget to subscribe because the majority of watchers haven't actually subscribed and it doesn't cost you anything, okay? So help us with our growth and subscribe. And good night to my co-host,
See you later.
Kieron.
Bye.
Okay, and it's a wrap.
But I'd like a self-awareness session.
Would you?
Yeah.
Hey, come then.
What was it? What was that?
Love. Laid.